So, the quote of the day is, "Do not wait for ideal circumstances, nor the best opportunities. They will never come." And that is from Janet Erskine Stuart. I tried to find a pronunciation of her name and it wouldn't give it to me, like her name specifically. So hopefully it's pronounced like the other Erskine that I found. Erskine that I found. But yes, that is that. That is the quote. And the reason I picked this quote is because partially because I'm doing this event. So the event evolved out of necessity. I inherited the book sale responsibilities. Oh gosh, was that 2018 and 2019? Something like that. And it was like almost treated, I won't say like a necessary evil, but kind of like we knew we had to manage books that come in that we couldn't keep. So we ran a perpetual sale in the reading room, but it wasn't highly publicized. It wasn't, it was there, but if you didn't know it was there, you might not ever come up and shop it. So as necessity evolved, as I started kind of taking stock of like the state of things, and as my job evolved in other areas, I started kind of going, poking at things that have been sitting around or waiting for assessment or not properly managed, and have evolved the whole process into a more formal workflow because it requires some more involved management, especially as we address some other things in the library. And we have limited time, we have limited labor, we have limited storage, like there are things that have to be managed. And because they all kind of like flowed into each other, it was like, okay, how do we do this? So when I first took it over, I wasn't sure how to like approach changes. And there was a lot of hesitation and a lot of like kind of control in ways because of past practices. Like some people, 2 decades ago were managing the book sale in a completely different way. And then other people came in and changed how it was done and then said no to those things. And then we'll do these things instead. And then it created different problems. Like they both had problems. It's not perfectly managed now, but the improvements, I was like, well, I should just overhaul the whole thing and I should just formally draft something. And then it stagnated because people weren't sure about the changes. People you had to like kind of go through the management, like send it to this person and then send it to the person above them and send it to the person above them. And it kind of stalled because it was a lower priority item to get addressed. And so I had to change my tactic and figure out, I was like, okay, we have some problems that we need to address and we are running into some things. So it led to me not only attacking the problem in a different way, but also just professionally, like across the board, teaching me a lot about how to communicate, not only with my direct supervisors, but also how they needed to, connect with their direct supervisors. And it kind of taught me to look at it like, how do I express the problems I'm experiencing in a way that makes sense to overarching goals, like from the top down, because they look at problems differently. They look at like how to manage things differently than I do, because I'm like boots on the ground, nitty gritty. I need the space. I need this and this. But like communicating that in a way that connects to the problems they're trying to address was really important. Not to say I get it right, not to say I'm perfect, but like I do better now because I took those problems and instead of like getting stagnated and going, well, I guess I can't solve this problem, we'll just have to keep coping with the fact that there's all these issues. I transformed it and went about it in a different way. And over the course of my time managing this, we have vastly improved how we're handling things on like addressing the things that I need to address, addressing the things that the library needs, addressing, like institutional goals, and being really thoughtful about it, really trying to address ethical things too, because I mean, it's a book sale. And if you've ever dealt with managing books even if it's your own personal collection, it is so difficult because books for a lot of people are very, very precious. They are precious objects that should be preserved at all costs. But when you're talking about dozens, hundreds, thousands, how do you deal with the fact that you can't keep everything? And how, I mean, nobody ever wants to see a book get tossed in the trash. So how do you address the fact that you have all of this stuff that needs to be managed, has to go somewhere, can't stay here? We need other books here. We can't keep all of the books. And so how do we get them to other places that need them? How do we get them to people that need them? How do we donate them? You know, like it's a lot of very thoughtful consideration to keep things moving. And like, you think, oh, I'll just apply this one rule to rule them all, and that'll be the end. And then you discover, well, that really doesn't work for this category of stuff and this group of stuff and the stuff that, you know, we do that rule, but nobody ever seems to want to buy the books or take the books or whatever. And so it's just been like, okay, you know, decide on something, try it out, see what happens, and then give it some time to see the effects. And, you know, every year I get a little bit more information. I get a little bit more data. I sell a lot more books. I make a lot more money. Well, not a lot more money, but I make enough more money to be like, okay, we're still on the right path. We're still like advertising better. We're reaching a different audience or, you know, just connecting in different ways to try and find it. It was funny because somebody I worked with was like, it's almost like you're trying to adopt them out like pets. And I'm like, kind of like, we want them to find a good home. And so, it's just really rewarding to do the best I can with the information that I have, gain new information as we work through it, as we apply new rules, as we try new things, and then try again, and then do it again, because there is no be-all, end-all answer for every single book sale, for every single library. Everyone's got to have like little tweaks, and a lot of libraries have gotten rid of like book sales because they just don't have the capacity to do it anymore. So it's been challenging, like, to fight for the changes that have been made, and then to also go, and here's the proof, here's the data to show that yes, we are moving in the right direction. Because right now it's, you know, it's really tough because we've also been processing a lot of gifts that we had to answer some questions for and figure out how to deal with those things. Like, if we can't keep them, where do they need to go? We consult with these people, we offer to these people, you know, we contact this institution, whatever. But if we can't actually do anything like that, how do we, you know, what do we route to the sale? What do we not route to the sale? How do we deal with these things? And there's always like a new little, this little category needs its own answer. Like, it doesn't really fit into there to this other thing. And, you know, sometimes we create a whole new set of rules and criteria. And sometimes we're like, okay, how do we adapt the ones we've already figured out and apply them? And so, yeah, this time of year is like one of my favorite times of year because it's just, it's like the culmination of the entire year plus all of the years leading up to it. And how much better does that, you know, what does that produce as far as results here? And so, yeah, it's not, you know, it's been a tricky thing to figure out, and it's not like it's finished being figured out, but it's, you know, it's rewarding, and I know it's going to a good cause. It's, you know, helping people to, I mean, people connect to books in a lot of ways, and it's almost a privilege to get to watch people like have their moments, like they go, you know, they'll be walking by and all of a sudden it's like a magnet. They'll be drawn to a book, and then they'll get like a little secret smile, or they'll talk to their friend or whatever. And it's just like, there's just something special in like the magic of a person finding a book that they're like, oh, this is a treasure. This is something that I need to take home. And, you know, the people will walk by, you know, 100 people will walk by, and then that one person is just like, that's mine. That's my book. Anyway, so it's nice getting to be there and watching people, you know, like everyone responds differently. Some people are quiet. Some people are with, you know, friends and family. Some people want to talk to you about the books. And that's always fun too. So anyway, I know I focused a lot on work life, but it's present. Thanks for dropping in. If you want to hang out, I stream live on Twitch and YouTube Thursday evenings and middays on Sunday. I hope you have a lovely day, night, time, wherever you are, whenever you are. I'll see you next time.